Thrive family, I just released my new book, There is a War, How to Win the Battle Over the Masters of the Soul. I want you to be aware and attentive of the war after your soul. And my prayer is that this book will help you. Forward by Nathan Finocchio, afterward by Pastor David Campbell. You can find it on Amazon Kindle version or paperback. Thank you for the support. Here's today's episode. Welcome to Thrive, where I believe you were not created to survive, but to thrive. And if you change yourself, you can change your world. I'm excited. I have my wife back on the podcast.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for being once again in the studio. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
You've been crushing it on Cultivate. Cultivate has been amazing. I've literally have had several people tell me how much they love your podcast.
Yay.
And don't even mention mine. But I'm actually so glad because it's really, really good conversations. Obviously, this is geared more toward some short leadership clips, but these kind of episodes are fun too. But yours has been amazing. You've been crushing. How do you feel with it?
I love it.
Have you gotten really good feedback?
I have gotten really good feedback. I am currently finishing the recordings for this year. Awesome. We've been on since May, so it's been a long time. End of May. I
love your approach. Like I may do some of that next year.
Copy me?
Yeah, I might copy you because some of the guys are like, "Hey, we got to talk about some of these topics too." And I'm like, "You're right." Like you've talked about grief. You've talked about
domestic abuse.
That one was
marriage.
Incredible.
We've talked about.
There's one that you did early on. Oh my God, I'm forgetting off the top of my head. That one was incredible.
That was the first episode.
That one was amazing. You started Cultivate that one. That was awesome. So I love your approach on just taking different topics and saying.
So we're taking a break for the month of December.
Cool. I think we are too.
And we are starting again 2025 January, and I am rethinking a little bit of it. I still want to keep the same format as far as conversations.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm thinking about what else. I actually posted on my Instagram yesterday different ways to resource women. So we might do a little bit more Bible study sometimes. We'll see.
Well, either way, shout out to you. Whatever you do, it's been phenomenal. But thank you for visiting this one. And
I love it.
Yeah, we might copy your route.
You're more than welcome.
But how you been?
Fantastic.
Last time you were on here, we were building this set. And we answered a bunch of questions. There's a lot that we didn't get to, which we're going to try to get to today.
The birds.
A little bit of South Florida feel is what I want to do here.
Yeah, did you ever explain your thought behind this set?
Mm-mm.
You should tell people why there's birds behind me and
no,
sunshine over there.
I didn't think it needed an explanation. I just thought it was a nice set.
Oh.
Did you explain your set?
No.
But you want me to explain mine?
You love Florida, so you got like birds.
I love,
from,
I was telling somebody
native.
I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday that,
That's
some people don't like where they're born and raised. I love where I was born and raised. Yeah. Like I am Miami guy all the way. So I like showing South Florida. Like, my office, I got my memory wall or my inspirational wall is what I call it. And so I will have Don Shula, Marino. I have South Florida in the 20s and the 30s, Miami, all that. So same thing here. I kind of wanted to do, honestly speaking, with this studio, I wanted to do a lobby of a hotel. So that's why I said hobby.
Lobby.
I wanted to do a lobby of a hotel. Like I remember we walked into this hotel in Colombia one time, and it was a very modern concrete type hotel. It looks super nice. So I wanted that kind of feeling, like very clean, minimalistic, but yet a little touch of South Florida. So I obviously love the flamingo.
I have the theme for the next one.
For whose?
For the next episode. For the next, whatever this is for you.
For me?
Next season.
I'm not changing it.
You're not?
No, I'm keeping this one for life. At least for the next couple of years.
You should do a Western theme.
Okay, that's my office vibe. Yeah, that's my office vibe. My office vibe is horse country. And we ended up in horse country, which is great. Let's talk about that for a moment. But thank you for wanting to change my studio that I've only had for a few months.
I have to change mine.
Why don't we talk about horse country for a little bit? If you do not know, we have moved locations as a church. And we went from literally South Kendall to literally now the center of Kendall in horse country, which is a place we actually loved for a long, long time.
Yes, because if you don't know us, we actually love, I'm going to say the ranch life, like we've ever had the ranch life, but
No,
the
but we dream
idea
about
of it. We dream about a farm, and I dream about having lots of animals.
I tell people all the
cows.
time that I am little city, little country. Like as far as I think a part of me wanted to live the city life. I told Diana that if I could ever redo my life, I wanted to go live in New York City for a year in a small apartment, walk down, catch the subway, work at a Subway.
Yeah.
I literally said I want to work at a Subway
Yeah.
for a year,
The
making
experience.
just I want to live that city life.
You can
Obviously,
pretend to make me
love
sandwiches
Miami.
at home. You can pretend you're working at Subway and make me sandwiches at home.
We can do that. Absolutely. But I also love the country. Like there's something about just being up in the mountains or having, a couple acres. There's something about the country life that I think is so peaceful, so beautiful. So I've actually been wanting to do that. Huge shout out to our friends, Alex and Megan, that just moved to a 30-acre
country.
property up by Tallahassee somewhere. We love you guys. So we say we live vicariously through them now. All
So
to say,
horse country was the closest thing to still being in the city,
yep.
but having that.
Yeah, we looked at the Redlands and all
country.
that, and it's still a little too far away. But Horse Country was always a neighborhood we loved. Never did we think our church was going to end up being there. So we just moved there a couple weeks ago, and it's been phenomenal.
It's been amazing.
So that's why we love the Western vibe. We did get to go to Wyoming
Yeah.
several years ago. We absolutely fell in love. We literally cannot wait to go back to Wyoming. If you're from Wyoming, know anybody in Wyoming,
or Utah.
let's go out there and have some fun. Or Montana. We love all that kind of stuff. So
Montana.
anyways, I do love that life. You love that life.
I'm all
and so
country.
we're praying that one day God's going to give us a farm in South Florida.
Cows.
I just want to live a ranch life.
Yes.
I don't know about cows.
I
It
want
takes a lot of
cows.
work.
At least one.
But it's still a lot of work.
Yeah, but
I want one of my
it's
neighbors
amazing.
to have cows, so I'll go to my fence, look at their cows, but I don't have to do the work
We'll
of having
see,
cows.
we'll see.
But I do just want to wake up and look out at like an acre and just hear horses and cows. So we do that now through Horse Country. But my God, it's been a wild turn of events and something that we never expected. And so we doubled in size as far as auditorium. And that first week alone, we tripled, which was absolutely crazy. What a wild day that was.
Wild. So, yes, we moved in order to have space, and we do have more space. And then little did we know that first week we were going to be out of space.
Out of space already week one, which is crazy. And so anyways, fun times at
Yeah.
church. We're having a fun time. Our team is the best. Our
best,
dream
the
team
best,
is
the
the
best
best. A
people.
lot of them listen to Cultivate and Thrive. I'll say the majority of our listeners are people from our church. So I just want to say thank you to our dream team
Yeah,
that works.
I don't get tired of saying that and saying thank you, because it's different to build with people who are great people, who are passionate, who are loving, who care. And everyone, like our whole team, just carries this with us in such an incredible way that I couldn't imagine life without them.
Literally, our dream team is the absolute best. I think on paper right now, we're at over 500 people on Dream Team, which I can't believe. And they're the absolute best. A friend of mine told me they were at a church. He's actually pastors another church. And they were at our church for that whole conference week. And they said, listen, your team is not just excellent, they're filled with joy.
Yes.
And I said, wow, that means a lot. He said,
Somebody told me that too.
Yeah, he said, I walked through the front patio, our front courtyard with the patio, green turf, all that, went through the lot. Every person I walked into, he goes, I need you to know. And he goes, I pastor a church, and I'm starting to think, are we this joy-filled we need to be? He goes, but you guys were excellent. So all that to say, our people are the best. And so we absolutely
love you.
Love you, Dream Team. But yeah, life has been crazy. Our baby girl started school.
I was going to ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm overwhelmed in a good way. Like God has just been so good. So I feel like I don't deserve God's goodness. You know, we don't deserve it. And I just think I'm starting to see God's promises come to pass. And I think just God reassuring me of, if you give me your life, watch what I'll do.
Yeah.
And so it's literally like whenever I get around young people now, especially these young guys that we have at church that I absolutely love, and I'm just trying to teach them anything I can from the years I was in church. I was like, listen, you give them your life, you're never going to walk away empty.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to look like, but you honor God and he's going to honor you. There's a lot of sacrifices that I made. I've talked about some of them. When I was younger, as far as saying no to a lot of things, because I wanted to be sold out to God. And maybe some people will be like, oh, but you didn't enjoy some years. You didn't do X, Y, or Z. It's like, yeah, but God never stays empty. I'll never forget. I think my parents say that phrase, like God never stays with anything in his hands. He is a God of blessings, and he's going to pour out peace over your life, love over your life. Psalm 37:4, I believe it is, delight yourself in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. And I feel like that's happening in my life right now where I'm just like, God is good. Whether he gives us anything else or not, obviously salvation is more than enough, but the little things that he is doing in our life, with our church, with our family, it's like, man, God, you are so good.
I think some people might think of that sometimes as it happening instantaneously.
No.
And they don't realize that sometimes, I love what Pastor David Campbell and Elaine say, that they've basically have trained and prepared their whole lives to enjoy the last part of their lives. And so they've given so much sacrifice, so much lovingly, willingly, and have been through some difficult seasons. And now it's at the end. I don't want to say it's the end of their lives, but you know what I mean? At the latter part of their lives.
The way they phrase it is God trained them for 40 years for these last 10 years.
Yeah. And that thought, many people, and it's not that God wasn't good and gracious the years prior to, but sometimes there are certain promises or certain things that God has for you. They might just not happen when you expect them to. And absolutely. You still serve God, and God is still good. And
No, I think you're absolutely right. When I was 17, 18, 19, saying no to certain things, 20, 21, where I could have been enjoying some things of this city, the world, I did have a level of consecration. And again, not my strength, but I asked God to help me because I did feel like I wanted to serve God. And at the moment, it could have seemed dumb. It seemed dumb to some friends. It seemed dumb, maybe to even me at times. But all these years later, it's like, man, you don't know what God has for you. All I know is you give him your life, God is not going to stay with anything in his hands. He'll bless you. He'll watch over you. Not saying that life is going to be great. Not saying life is going to be perfect. It has not been perfect for us. We've gone through some hard times. But all in all, I can say, we live in a small townhouse. We don't have a whole lot. We're far from rich. But, man, we have peace. We have goodness. We look at our little family. We're always like, man, God, you've been so good. Yeah. We are some messed up human beings, but we're still working out a lot of things in our own lives. But you give him your life. You give him your life, and he will build your life. And so that's how I'm feeling, just overwhelmed in a good way. Like, God, you are good. In spite of all the stuff, we still got to deal with family. We still got to deal with drama. We still got to deal with people. We still got to deal with bills. We still got to deal. Stuff. Like life is a life for everybody. Absolutely. But I don't ever want to be a complainer. And God has given us way more than we deserve, just in goodness, in the goodness of God. And so, that's why I love that song that we sing, God has been way too good, and he's given us his goodness. So overall, feel great, amazing. God is good, and grateful for our family. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic.
I wanted to talk really quick about parenting for a few before we get to some questions. How are you feeling with parenting? How are you dealing as a mother?
I am dealing.
If you don't know, I've always wanted to be a father of many nations. No, I wanted to be a father a long time ago. Like I did have this idea. I love kids. I wanted to be a really young dad. We've shared this before. I don't know why I had this crazy idea that I wanted to be a dad by 21. 21 is my favorite number, 21 and 9. And so I'm like, by 21, I want to be a father. But obviously, once you hit 18, 19, like that's insane. Push that thing back. But I wanted to be a dad. You were kind of more like, I'm
I don't love
okay.
kids as much as you do.
Yeah, so you were okay even if we never had kids.
Correct.
Type of deal. And so here we are. We have dads. The other day, my mom told me, man, seeing Diana as a mom fills me with so much joy. I think she didn't even know how much like joy and love it was going to bring to her life. And I'm like, I think you're absolutely right. And I think you're thriving as a mother. What are your thoughts?
I think I'm doing fantastic. No, in all seriousness, I think it's good. And I think what makes it better for me is that I have such an amazing support group. Our family, our close friends, that allows me to, do everything that I need to do. Yeah. And I think I love, just being Aria's mom. And the little things, the difficult things, the waking up super early and rushing out the door and doing all these things, and sometimes
she started
the
school
long
now, and
nights.
so we got to leave super early in the morning. It is not easy. My level of respect for you, for moms, good moms. I was talking to a friend and I told him, man, my level of respect for moms now go to the next level. And he says, good moms, because there's bad moms. And I say, you're right. My level of respect for good moms now, you, my mom, my sister, it's like, well, like it's a heavy toll, you know, because we can do as much as I can do. I feel like I'm a pretty good dad and I help you out as much as I can.
You do, you're amazing.
Not to toot my own horn, but.
Toot, toot.
That's become a classic. You know, I try to do as much, but there's some things that a mom just carries.
Yeah.
And as much as I try, but yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing. I think you're absolutely thriving as a mom. You told me the other day, can you believe, or did you ever think you could love this little girl like this, right? Because we were both like so in love with her. And it's like, no, never. I remember, and maybe we talked about this on the podcast, but I remember Vlad and Raquel, who are absolutely incredible, saying as soon as you get birth, you're going to look at her, you're going to be in love. You guys are going to, there's a love
you're
that you can't
look
explain
into
it.
her eyes and you are going to be instantly in love, and you're
And so
just...
if we did talk about this in a prior season,
Pretend you didn't hear it.
But we're going to be really honest. When Aria was born, we're like, who is this alien?
Yeah.
She looked like an alien. I'm like, I didn't feel
She was
love.
cute.
She was cute.
No, I don't think we talked about it, and it's not that you didn't feel love. It wasn't like, oh my God, and like,
But the head is shaped weird, and you're like, oh my God, I love her. Yes, obviously she's mine, but this is just weird.
Yeah.
It's extremely weird. And
It's just, you just got handed a
then
human.
they come out with like, you know, gooey stuff and a little bit like blood and all that. Then they clean them and they turn
Is
pale
this man
white.
really saying this?
And it's like, oh my God, like childbirth is also very weird. It's crazy. And so it's like,
we really go. We were talking about falling in love with your baby, and you're talking about birth stories.
my sister's here. Shout out to my sister. She's been an amazing help. My sister had 3 kids of her own. Shout out to Sebastian, Lucas, and Penny, but she's been a massive help to us. But it is weird. Like childbirth is weird. And then you have the baby, then they give it to you, and you're like, I don't know if I would say a deep sense of love is what I felt at the moment.
No, you love it because that's your kid, but it's not like, to me, it.
You love the child so much.
Hold on. It's not like the world stops and this just beautiful music starts
No,
playing.
no, no,
and
no,
you're
no,
like
no.
suspended in the air. Your love grows. Because that's kind of like how life is. Like, of course you love your child, but it's not like, I don't know, like
It
with
wasn't,
anything in life, it's proximity to someone, getting to know someone.
But maybe Vlad and Raquel, we
No,
haven't
it
had this
happened to
conversation
them.
with them.
No, it happened to
She
them.
said as soon as she saw
Yeah.
little Liana, Lucas, and Lolo, I guess this deep sense of falling in love. And I'm like, I loved
we
Aria.
went home and we talked about it because that's not how I felt. And
No.
we had, it's the conversations you have with each other where nobody's like listening and you're like, am I weird?
Yes.
Am I an evil monster? Like I
we
love
were
my
having
baby.
those
Yeah.
True story. We were having
But
those
it's like,
conversations. And so Aria sees in the future as well, you know, I loved you, but it's a weird transition.
but as your child grows, and again, because of proximity, time, and you get to fall in love even more with this
100%,
child. And so
100%.
every day you fall in love more with her. And so
Now, I will say now, oh, yeah, for sure. I'll
Yeah.
fight somebody for her. And she's our world. She's our
Yeah.
world. She's the cutest. And obviously,
I'm wondering if somebody out there felt like we did. And
yeah,
we're
let us
not
know in the
alone.
comments if that's how you felt, if you were weirded out by the time your child was born. My sister's saying, yes, thank you. We're not the only ones. We're
it's
not
like-
monsters.
It's
I
like
tell
I just
Diana
got
all the
handed a
time.
human. What do I do?
Yeah, I tell Dan all the time, we're not monsters. Listen, I'm sure more than one person has felt that way. We're like, okay, I love this little being, but it's strange. I got to take this little
Thing home.
Ninja Turtle home. Like, it just looks like a little creature. So, okay. All right. We have a ton of questions to get to. So let's get
You
to
already
it.
took half the time.
I
just
know.
talking
But it was good
nonsense.
catching up and letting people know where we're at a little bit. And so let's just ask a few of the questions that we get. I want to thank everybody that's for sending in their questions every time we put it up on a podcast, on a story. Thank you. We're going to try to get to a lot of these questions. But so we are collecting them and we'll get to them as we go.
Okay, let's try to get through them fast.
Let's do it. Okay. You know what we should do before we do?
No.
It's time for fire round. Fire round number 2 or 3.
Fire.
Fire round. Let's do fire rounds. Actually, a lot of people have told me they enjoyed it. So it's just more off the cuff, just what's on the top of your mind. Let's ask some things. So let me do fire round, and then you do fire round to me. Let's do 3 questions. 3 quick questions, and then we'll get to the real questions. Fire round. Ready? Let's go. You got to be ready. Let's go.
Okay.
Fire round. Are you ready?
I'm just laughing because some people might remember the last fire round.
Okay. Ready? Favorite thing to do with off time?
Chill, sleep.
You sleep. You are? Yeah, you like to sleep.
I don't nap these days, and you know how much I love naps.
Yeah,
and it's been 2 years that I have not napped.
Yeah, and it's going to be 2 years.
So any chance I get at a little nap, I will take it.
Yeah, yeah. The other day we dropped off Aria and we had a day off, and so we went back home and knocked out. And I'm usually not that type. Once I'm up, I never go back to sleep. Until it's nighttime. But we did. We went back to home and slept, and it was. I'm not lying. It was good.
It was amazing.
It was awesome.
Okay, next. They're telling us to hurry up because it's supposed to be a fire round.
Fire round. Fire round number 2. Favorite song right now?
Oh, it's a song by Karim Leon. And if you know who he is, shout out to you.
Yeah, the Anna Lady's been in some good Mexican
I forgot the name.
music.
I forgot what the name, but yeah.
Round number 3. Favorite interesting subject right now that you're like deep diving into?
Ooh. My gosh, it's probably some conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Probably vaccines or something like that, or food.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good. Fire round. That was great. You did good. That was great.
I mean, I always do good. I don't do good at asking you the questions.
Do you have any? Or
Sure.
We go to these?
Okay. Favorite artist right now?
Ooh.
Quick.
Post Malone. His country album is phenomenal.
Okay.
And I wasn't a country guy. I can't believe I'm listening now to country. But yeah, that country album's gotten me. I'm like, wow, it's really good music.
Favorite hobby right now at the moment, if any?
Funny, walking.
Yeah, you've turned into such a walker.
Yeah, the other day I literally walked. I told you the other day I went walking for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I felt like my grandma.
Favorite podcast that's not this one or Cultivate?
Favorite podcast right now? It is what it is. I listen to it. I try to listen to it as much as I can. I haven't heard it as much as I've wanted to lately, but yeah. Shout out to Cam and Mace. I love sports, and Mace was always one of my favorite rappers growing up. Thank God he's serving the Lord now. But yeah, just like their commentary and stuff is funny.
Yes, it is funny.
Hey, good job with the fire round. There you go.
I will give
awesome.
credit where credit is due.
Let's go. Let's get to some of these questions. Number 1, when did you get called into full-time ministry? I think your answer is going to be interesting.
Okay. I'm always a little hesitant to say certain things because I feel like sometimes people might not get what I mean.
Say it. Shoot from the hip.
So full-time ministry, like meaning like I got hired at church?
No. When did you?
Because sometimes Christians can be weird when it comes to questions like this. And
why?
Like,
why do you say that?
Like they just make things too overly spiritual and weird when it's a different question. So
okay, I get what you're saying.
When did
now.
I feel God call me? Because call me to full-time ministry means when did God call me to get hired at church? Well, when I got offered to get hired at church. I don't know.
I get what you're saying now. It can be twofold. I would say I think this question is more based out of when did you feel called that you were going to serve God full time?
I would say I don't think I had.
Which, by the way, we all serve God full time.
Right. So I would say, well, that's what I mean. Like, I would say for me, it was in this moment where, like, this voice came from heaven and told me, you're going to serve me full time. I think it was in the day to day. It was I gave my life to Jesus and I want to serve God. And therefore, I will invest my life, my time, everything, my talents, my gifts into the local church. And I think as I did that, I fell in love with what I was doing, and God just opened doors for me to continue to get involved in different, capacities. And I got hired at church, and it was just taking those opportunities as God gave them to me with a heart to serve Him. And as I walked through those doors, and God continued to take me into different opportunities or whatever, and I took them, it's just kind of stewarding what God had given me out of the same heart that I had when I was 21, of just serving God and being faithful. Does that make sense?
Total sense. I think, I don't know who asked this. Sometimes our team just will send us the questions or whatever. So I think many times as young people thinking, how did you guys get to do this full time? Because they have a dream or an ambition.
Well, I think that's what changes the question. I think it's sometimes maybe as a person asking the question is someone that has a desire to work at church, work for a church. And then that makes it a little bit different. I never had that. I never dreamt of working at church. I never had that desire. It was, again, just something that I guess, God had for me, and it happened as I was being faithful with.
Yeah, so I was going to say basically same thing with me, kind of like, I grew up in church, me, my sister, my brother, my parents, we were all in church. And so it wasn't until I was a little bit older, maybe 19, 20, that I was helping out a lot with my young adult pastor, Frank. And then I started thinking, okay, maybe I could, be here helping him out for the rest of my life. That would be cool. Because I was literally at church every day after college or after work. I'll literally go to church and, Alex, let's go do this. Alex, let's go film this. And it was fun. And we were reaching a lot of young adults. I was part of the young adult ministry. And that's when I started thinking, oh man, maybe one day I could do this full time with him. I've never thought a pastor, like me pastoring or me teaching. It was more me helping this guy out who was like a big brother in my life that I admired, I looked up to. But yeah, I would say it just kind of happened to us as we were just serving. So maybe some people do have this desire, this ambition.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like, I feel like there are people who God genuinely placed this gift and desire for this. I think there are people who may just think it would be cool and they like it. I think you do have to be called, in a sense, to do this. So to me, to give advice to someone who perhaps is a young person trying to work at church, because we've done things, we have such a different story.
But I would say this too. One of my favorite phrases is the best ability is availability.
Yes.
Right? So, for example, the reason I think I got really involved with my young adult ministry that I was a part of, and I was helping out Frank so much, is because I was available. Like, as soon as I got out of work or I left a college class, I was in church. Hey, what are we doing? Where are we going? I was just available. So I'll be there from 5, 6 p.m. all the way to...
But I'm saying there are some people that... It's not even like you want to work at XY church, your home church. There are people who are willing to work at any church. They're willing to relocate. They're willing to move because that is the dream that they have.
For sure.
And what I meant by our story is so different is that that's so foreign to us, because even everyone that's working at our church have been people from within our church.
People who are there, but they've been available. They're around the clock. They're here helping out. But there's
plenty of churches we know that hire from another state. So, it's kind of...
So when did we get called? For us, we ended up just getting hired. Diana got hired as an assistant. First and foremost, I think you were answering phone calls. You were, receptionist.
I was filling in for one of the assistants that was going on maternity leave.
But you were first almost like a receptionist, no? For a little bit, you kind of did receptionist. And I just came on as like an associate pastor type deal. So, when did you get called? We got hired as we were there just doing whatever was available. So hopefully that answers the question a little bit. And hopefully, I would just say what we always say here, and when we got these kind of questions, is like, just do what's in your hand right now. Like, just serve, be available, whatever church you're a part of. Same thing like in business. If you want to, climb in business, I think you have to be part of that business, be involved. You see the managers see you, they see you, they keep you in mind. You can't disappear and then hope for, the manager to see you when you're never around. We were around, also, but obviously our heart was never even to be on staff. We were, I was doing business.
That's what I was going to say. That could be your hope and what you think it's your call, but don't ever let the end goal, if for you it's to work at a church, kind of overshadow the initial, like the heart of why you even wanted to do that in the first place. Because sometimes I feel like some people can be so fixated on, I just want to work at church and I just want to be on staff, that we forget even the reason why we wanted to do that in the first place, which is probably serve God.
Me and you never had an idea we were going to be on staff. In fact, that was my mindset 10 years prior to meeting you, once I met you and we were involved in now a different church, we were fine doing what we were doing with our full-time lives. I was in business, you were working somewhere else, and we were fine. Never did we did it out of literally the abundance of our heart, just to love the Lord and serve and help build the local church. So I would say, motives are very good. Number 2, it kind of goes with this one. What's an advice for a high school kid that wants to pursue ministry?
Well, I would say the same thing we were talking about. I think if that's your desire, is because you love Jesus, and if you love Jesus because you want to serve God and serve people and serve your local church, so find a local church where you can pour your heart and soul into, where you can learn. And if, depending what area of ministry you want to go into, maybe you go to school for, biblical studies, maybe you do something like that. But I think just being involved and pouring your heart and soul into this.
Yep, kind of along the same lines.
Yeah.
What we just said, the number 1, it's number 1, do it from the right motive, but be available, be around. If you want to pursue ministry, I would say start, maybe looking at a Bible college, maybe TheosU, SCU, CLS. Shout out to CLS on Tuesday nights. So if you do want to pursue ministry, at one point I felt like, man, I think there's a call for my life. And that's when I switched to Bible college when I was doing business administration. So there's small steps that you can do. The most important thing is just keep your heart pure and serve with all your mind, heart, and soul the God that you serve. And
I would take this a step further, and this might be a completely different conversation. But I think motives are huge. I think we are living in times where, because of social media, it's glamorized, the word? Glamorized ministry. The idea of ministry, and people can get the wrong idea and think, if I serving God means I get to travel the world and have fun and take pictures with whoever's in at the moment.
That's not ministry.
And that's not ministry. And so if that's your idea of ministry, you probably need to rethink ministry, because real ministry is 3% that, and
if that, you may never even get that.
You may not, right.
So, it may be at a small local church, serving your city, your community for the rest of your life.
So if you want to be in ministry for the rest of your life and you feel called, you have to be willing, and you have to love the least of these. You have to love to pour your heart and soul in a place where maybe nobody knows you. There's no glamour. There's no pretty things. There's no, all these things involved. Because that's what ministry is serving people. So removing this idea of this Instagram world.
It's not real.
That's just, surface level of what it really means to be, serving
in ministry. Last one, because they all kind of go along the same. What do I do with my life as I wait for career advice? What do I do with my life as I wait for God's calling to ministry over my life? So I would say, same thing we're basically talking about. You can't sit and wait for God to open a door to ministry.
Could it be that God has already called some people to ministry and it's just not working at church?
Yeah.
But sometimes 100%. We think sometimes we're so fixated on what it could look like that we dismiss how we are already in ministry.
Yep.
Like there are so many people serving in the local church. You are already in ministry. You are already doing ministry. You are already doing all these things. And we might just dismiss them or think 100%. They're not all this because we're waiting for a title. And it's like, no, you're already doing ministry. Yep. You are already in ministry. Ministry is also part of your life and who you are. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say career advice is what they're asking. I would say continue to pursue whatever it is. If there are some people that are in Bible college right now, so there's a lot of good Bible colleges you can go to. If you really are convinced, like I want to be in full-time ministry, there are some good colleges you can go to full-time. And I would say pursue that. Go after that. If you don't care if it's not in your local church, you can go somewhere else and pursue a career in whatever. And that works for a lot of people as well. So I don't want to knock that too, you know. I know a ton of people that, are going to Highlands College or an SCU and they're
that's what I meant. And then they go work somewhere else in another state or whatever.
Like God may send you to Idaho and go serve somewhere. And if your heart is, I don't care what city, what church, I want to serve the Lord anywhere, you can pursue that, I think, in a lot of ways. If you want to be part of your local church, then I would say keep following, keep serving. keep following whatever path you were on while you're serving, and you do everything you can as you wait for the Lord to open up doors if it's in his will. I mean, again, because our trajectory has been a little bit different where we were just serving. I was in business. You were working at a tag agency, and we were just available on Sundays, and God opened doors little by little. We didn't even have that in our heart and mind. Never did I think I was going to be a pastor teaching Sunday to Sunday, leading a church. Never did we think we were going to be leading a ministry. I think neither did my sister or any of us have this in mind. It literally has been a surprise to all of us. So that's why our advice can be a little bit different. But there is, again, different paths that you can take. Okay, number 4, funniest memory we have when we were dating.
Dating.
Funniest memory when we were dating.
Can you think of any? I mean, we didn't date for long.
Yeah, I don't know. Funniest memory when we were dating. I'm trying to remember, but
I don't have any.
Yeah,
Is that weird?
Trying to think. I mean, I had a lot of good memories, but like funny, like a funny one.
Can't think of any. Sorry.
I think I have one, but I can't share.
Oh God, what the heck? That's what people are gonna imagine. God knows what.
It's funny, but I can't share.
Okay, don't say it then. I don't know what it is.
Bad. It's just funny. I can't go for it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Remember one night we were all hanging out at your apartment and I'm leaving.
Don't do it.
Yes, I can't. It's a funny one, but I can't. No. Nothing bad. I'm serious. It's nothing bad. We were
kind of had nothing to do with him and I.
Huh?
Like it wasn't about you.
No, it wasn't about you and I at all. Yeah. But no,
the next question.
Sorry, we can't. That one was funny. Yeah, but
Alex, we can't keip saying it's funny. We're not gonna tell people.
Yeah,
what it
I'm
is,
sorry.
And we're not gonna
sorry,
tell
guys.
Them what it is.
We'll have dinner sometime. We'll share about it.
And no.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry. It literally was the first thing that came to my mind. Something else funny? I can't.
No. Next question.
What should be you're going to like this one. Okay. What should be the correct view on secular music if you're Hispanic and you enjoy dancing?
I mean, I just told you I listened to Karin Leon, so that should tell you something. I think music is part of our culture, and I think dancing is too. If you grew up in a Hispanic household, as I did, it's kind of part of who you are. And so what we don't do is go to clubs to dance.
Yeah.
We don't do that. But if we're hanging out at the house and it's like a Christmas little gathering with our family, would play music and dance. And it's just like our family, and we have a good time and we dance with the kids. And so I don't think you have to give up that necessarily. Now, what you listen to on a daily basis, I would say you have to be mindful of.
100%.
If the only thing you listen to are like, I don't know, just something crazy.
Karin Leon.
No, he sings nice music.
Yeah.
But even if it was something like that, like, okay, there's a time for everything, I would say. And so it's okay if you listen to a little bit of this. For some people, some other people can listen to certain songs or certain music because it's just they come from a certain background. And so, I would say exercise wisdom. But if you like to dance, that's awesome. If you know how to dance, good for you.
Yep.
Gather your family and have a good time.
Yes, I think convictions and wisdom is one way to go. Or the way to go. But yeah, our family parties, like as far as just, and it's our immediate family. We put on music, we dance. It's clean music. Obviously, it's not worship music, but we do put on some good.
Some people dance, but dance.
But it's some good Spanish fun music, clean music, and we're having a good time as a family. And we all dance. You love dancing. You used to love dancing. I'm not a dancer. I don't know how to dance. I got 2 left feet. But I try to just have some fun with the family, and we do have a good time. Like, doesn't mean we don't walk around with like angels floating around us 24/7. Worship music 24/7. For the most part, worship is really what I listen to. Obviously, I think earlier in the fire round you asked about Post Malone. That's just some music I check out from time to time. Hear what's out there. And as long as it's clean, for the most part, I'll listen to some of it. Cool. But we do listen mostly. We're in worship. We're listening to message or podcasts. But from time to time, we'll have fun as a family. And we'll put on some music. True story. At a party one time, we're all dancing.
Oh, God.
And I picked up my niece Penny.
Yeah.
And I slipped on the carpet and fell. and her head hit the tile.
Her skull hit the
skull.
tire,
I thought I
the tile.
killed my niece. True story.
I think we all thought you killed your niece.
She had a concussion. I think
She
her
did.
eyes started rolling to the back of her head. This got
And your
really
eyes
serious.
almost rolled to the back of your head because you were so scared. You're white, but you were white. Like paper white.
I felt like I was going to faint. I felt like I killed my niece.
Yeah.
And that was just a one time, literally, it's maybe 7, 8 of us in the living room. We have fun. We're having a good
just
time. I think it was your
playing
mom's
around.
birthday. And we're all just having a good time. Nobody's drunk. Nobody's acting a fool, but I slipped on the carpet. Thank God she's okay. Penny, I love you.
She's fine.
But yeah, we have fun as a family.
Yeah.
We'll go up on vacation somewhere. And if it's all of us, we'll put on some music. We'll have fun. I feel like we're clear with convictions, but we're not religious.
No.
As far, and again, by religious, I mean like we can't have fun. We're clear with our
And I think
convictions.
God
I'm not
ha-
going to put on certain music. I'm not going to put on certain things that are absolutely against God's word and dirty and filthy. But again, that's wisdom, maturity, convictions there. If you don't have the faith for it, don't listen to anything. If you don't have the faith for it, don't dance. I agree with you. We dance in our living room. We dance in our house with our family. We're not going to go to a club where there's all these drunk people and all this filthy music. So you can dance. If you love dancing, whoever asked that, you can do it in your own home. You can do it at some family gatherings. Yes. But again, as long as you know you're trying to stay pure and clean before God, there's nothing wrong, I think, with having a good time with friends and family in the right setting. So hopefully that helped you. Number 7, other than reaching the lost and making sure God is glorified, what else? Okay, what else weighs heavy on your heart? Other than reaching people for Jesus in Miami, other than making sure God gets glorified, what are some things that are weight heavy on your heart? That's a very good question.
I feel like you know that better than I do. I guess because I probably tell you all the time, or you hear me say things.
I think there's a few things that weigh heavy on your heart.
What do you think?
Like, I think you get really passionate about several things. Number one, I would say human trafficking and helping, so many, especially young girls. Like when you start that conversation, you get really passionate about it. When you go have lunch with Maria Santa Maria and you find out what's happening in our county, how we can continue to help. There's like this passion that you have that weighs so heavy on your heart. How can we get better at that? Housing these girls. We're praying for a house that we can buy. We used to lease one for 3 years. And so I think that you get really, that weighs heavy on your heart lately. Second chance for people who were incarcerated and they come out and you want a second chance opportunity. That's been weighing on your heart heavy for the last year or two.
I would say all those things combined. I think what's always been a theme of what I want to do in life, it's just help people. So yes, it involves God, of course, because it's still what I want to give people for, first and foremost. But yeah, I think my heart weighs heavy on the people who suffer for whatever, many different reasons, whether it be trafficking, whether it be, not having a second chance and having a fair chance at life. It's just the broken people, people who are in need, people who are, having difficult. I think that's just always where my heart and my mind is.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. For me, I don't know why. I think it's like.
Wait, can I put this out there just in case? Because I've been trying to do this. The second chance, our system is horrendous. And so if you work with something like this, write to me. Send me a message. Let me know.
I think over 70% of the people that come out of jail end up going back to jail. It's some crazy, I could be off, but it's some crazy statistic like that. And so there has to be a better way for people that come out, regardless of what mistake they made in the past, to find a better path forward.
And through our prison ministry, we have a women's prison ministry at our church.
Yes,
and Leandra leads that, and she's absolutely incredible. And so we already do some of these things. But just the system isn't there to help people, and people who maybe, were... A lot of people deserve to be in jail. Some of the people are in jail and they don't deserve to be in jail. And it's just a very difficult, twisted system. And you could be awaiting sentencing for, I heard yesterday, someone who waited for 10, 11 years and then the case got dismissed and you just, lost 11 years of your life. And now how do you move forward?
Yeah.
So call me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For me, I would say, I know you said other than reaching the loss, what this person asked, but that does weigh heavy on my heart.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what else consumes my, as far as heavy,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of things can
Right.
consume my heart, but heavy, yeah, I do. I think about people that don't know the gospel or have a misunderstanding of God and church, Jesus. And I wish I could sit down with people one-on-one. Like that literally weighs heavy on my heart. Like, man, if we had a week together, I think you'll get a better picture of who God is. I think there's a lot of misrepresentations of God, of Jesus in the church, and that weighs heavy in my heart. Like, man, I'm sorry if you got this misrepresentation of God, of Jesus. I think if we spent some time together, number one, we'll be friends, and number two, you'll see all God has for you and how much He loves you. So that consumes my mind a lot.
It really is, yeah.
And so, anyways, okay, let's do one last one because I don't know how long we've been going for, but let's do one last one.
Okay, we have some time.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge or difficulty that you guys face as lead pastors? What is the biggest challenge, difficulty that you guys face daily as a lead pastors? Okay. Biggest challenge or difficulty that you face?
Wow. I think it changes. I think there's seasons for different challenges. And so to name something that's like a daily challenge, I wouldn't know.
I would say for me, and again, like you said, it does change. I can see that. There's a few things. I'll name my top two things. I'm trying to think about this thoroughly and try to be careful as I speak because I want to make sure. I'll say number one, time management. There's a lot.
Personal, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that we have to do. No, but even as a lead pastor, there's things I got to do that I'm like, what do I give attention to? How much attention I give to? So time management, I think that's, people think, like you said earlier, like people see ministry and they're like, oh, it's going up on a platform and sharing a message. There's a lot to do Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
And so your time, I got to, be praying, studying. I got to be studying the scriptures. I got to be writing a sermon. I got to be making sure I'm right. But I'm also, now we got 20 people basically that work at church. We're a growing family. We're growing as a staff. We're growing as a church. And so there's conversations that you got to be a part of, meetings that you got to be a part of. And thank God our team is so strong now that we don't have to be in a lot of those meetings, but there's still so there's a tension in me saying week to week, how much do I want to give to certain things? And sometimes I'll be like, I want to be a part of that meeting. And then later on I'll be like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to attend that meeting. I got this. So that's I think a challenge, a difficulty.
I couldn't agree more. Now that you say it, I think that's it.
Hey,
I think it's trying to.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I think it's trying to manage everything that is in our heart to do, everything that we have to do.
Yeah.
And all those little things. It was funny because I'm talking to my friend Coral the other day and she's checking up on me, asking, what are you doing? How's your day going? And I'm like, oh, good. So what are you working on? And I sent her like, oh, I'm doing this, planning this, doing this, whatever. I sent her a list of stuff that I'm doing. And she starts laughing and she said, something like, wow, if I wasn't your friend, I would think you guys do nothing. Wow. And I started laughing and I go, I'm pretty sure that's what people think.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was having this conversation with somebody several weeks ago, and I told them I now sympathize with pastors that I had growing up because all I thought, and it's not that you ever thought bad about them or thought they didn't do anything.
What can they possibly do all day?
I didn't know that. I didn't know all that was on their plate. And now us 8 years in, we're like, there's a lot.
A lot.
I would say there's some jobs that are 9 to 5 and you go home. Ours is 24 hours a day. Yeah. As far as stuff that weighs in your heart, things that you have to deal with, conversations where you have to put that schedule 9 to 5, but you can easily take this home, continue to have conversations, continue to manage meetings. And sometimes we don't have enough hours. There are some weeks where we're like, 60, 70 hours. We're going to work hard this week. But yes, I agree. So
I thought it was funny. People probably think like, what could they do? What could just plan a service? And it's like, no, there is so it was funny.
And I would say number 2, biggest challenge as lead pastors, people.
And the biggest blessing and the biggest challenge.
Yeah, because I'll never forget Pastor Chip Lusko. Love him. He's now in glory. We loved him. He was part of our staff for many years. When we first got started as lead pastors, he said, Alex, the biggest blessing in ministry is going to be people. Mm-hmm. The biggest challenge in ministry is going to be people.
Yeah.
And at first you hear that and you're like, what do you mean? I think a lot of us that we really start with like this heart of God, I just want to serve you. I just want to help people. We don't understand that sometimes the people you help the most are the people who hurt you the most. And so I understand now what some of the pastors in my past had to deal with when people either betrayed them, talk about them, left them, hurt them, or had just attitudes sometimes that you have to deal with, thoughts. Like sometimes we'll hear a comment from somebody and we're like, you wish you could sit down with, 3,000 people and try to explain something to them and one by one. But if you're not careful, that stuff will also drain you. It's like, I'm trying to help you, but some people are just difficult. Some situations are just difficult. There's a lot of hurting people. There's a lot of people. So it's like the biggest blessing, yet the biggest challenge can be people. I think if you're going to get into ministry because you love people, get ready because people will also be challenging and be difficult. And there's all these little million different types of scenarios that can happen week to week, month to month that you would have no idea about. So, but those are just challenges, how you deal with people's attitudes, how you deal with what they bring, their background, their baggage, how you deal with that. Everybody's different. The way you treat one person and navigate one scenario is not the way you have to with somebody else. And so it is an interesting way of dealing and handling situations. So hopefully that helped people out a little bit, answer some questions. I think we only got like 4 questions in out of
how many more left? 13 questions? I think I have
and there's more coming in on social media. You want to do one last one?
Is there any
You pick one if you want, but we're taking a lot of time this morning or today on Thrive. But go. You want to ask one before we close?
I think all these are pretty lengthy.
Yeah, they're going to take a little bit. Let me see. We leave it for the next round. There's a lot. Okay. These are a little bit. Yeah, all of these are going to take some time to answer.
We need to end this on a lighter note.
No, why? I like it like this. Think about such things. No, just kidding. Go ahead. What do you want to end on?
Oh, I have nothing in mind.
I love you. And I love our church. I love my sister. Shout out to my sister. And I'm going to put her up on my stories if you want to get to know her.
Insert photo
Send
here.
Send us a DM. Here. This is my sister. We're going to put a picture of her right here. Shout out to Michael and Brisa. I love you. Let's keep on thriving. Let's keep on doing all that God has called us to do. And the best is yet to come.
Amen.
I love you. If you change yourself, you can change your world. Let's go.